Hey y'all, Lois with Ellie Grace's Attic here. I am here today with, I guess this one is actually a lunchtime live. Last time I called it lunchtime live and it was, yeah, after lunch. But anyway, we're here today to do a yarn pumpkin. I found this pretty mustard yellow. Isn't this gorgeous? This is one of my favorite colors. And last year we did a fall banner and I incorporated mustard yellow. So I found this, I'm like, this will go great on the mantle. So I wanted to try to make a pumpkin out of it. So that's what we're gonna do today. It's just super easy. It's got three, I don't wanna say ingredients, supplies. There's no hot glue, there's no stitching, nothing like that. It's super easy, which if you followed me for longer than a minute, you know I love budget-friendly, easy DIY crafts. So that's what we're going to do today. This yarn actually, it's not regular yarn. It is a cotton yarn, but you'll see it's thicker. It's got a little braid to it. I wanted a chunky yarn for this. I got this at Hobby Lobby when it was 50% off. So you can just look around wherever they sell yarn. I know they have some yarns at Dollar Tree. The skeins are smaller, probably half this size. You just kind of have to dig there. They sell yarn at Walmart as well. It's whatever you prefer. You could do, of course, they come in all colors, so you can change up the color, but I wanted something a little chunky. So let me see. Hey Kim, hey Jana, glad you're here. Let's make a pumpkin. I'm so excited. So I have my yarn. This brand it was $4.99 regular price. It's called Yarn Bee. But again, I got it for half off, so it was $2.50, and I have a ton of it. And I've already started one of these pumpkins over to the side, just for time's sake. I didn't want you to be here all day watching me do it, but it doesn't take long once you get going. But I'm going to show you how easy it is. Then I have these foam balls. This was the original pack had 6 in here. These are 6. There are 6 pieces, and they're about 3 inches in diameter each. So it's going to be a little pumpkin. But you can get these in all shapes and sizes. You can get them at the Dollar Tree, Hobby Lobby. But this pack came from Walmart. Like I said, it was actually a little on the less expensive side because it was a pack of 6. It wasn't individual. So to make our, oh, and I have some chunky sticks that I got out of my backyard. So to make our pumpkin, first let me get this out of the pack. Thanks ladies for sprinkling the video. You're so sweet to me. That's just a nice way to say share, because you know Facebook doesn't like that word. So I have my ball. I'm probably not going to get this straight, and that's okay if you don't get it straight, but we're going to cut. We're going to kind of lop off straight across at the top and straight at the bottom, just to kind of make it sit flat and kind of give it more of a pumpkin-y shape. That's a word, by the way. So we are going to take, I just have a serrated knife. This is going to get a little bit messy, so you'll just have to clean up afterwards. Just going to hold it tight, and on the bottom, I'm going to call this the bottom, I'm going to lop off a larger section. Try to hold it very still and try to cut straight. So that's the section I cut off the bottom. So see, it'll sit flat. And then off the top, I'm just going to shave a smaller, make sure I'm trying to hold it steady. See, I just barely shaved it off, this little piece right there. And that's okay. It's okay if it's not perfectly straight, but you'll see it sitting flat in my hand. It's not rolling anywhere. So we're just going to kind of push this to the side. Now, for those of you who use Pampered Chef, don't tell any Pampered Chef consultant, but I'm about to, or maybe you should. Maybe this will be a selling point for them. I'm going to use my apple core to get the center of this out, okay? Now, what we're gonna do is we're just basically drilling a hole from the top all the way through to get out the center so we can run our yarn through. And it needs to be about the size of a quarter, okay, which is the diameter of a quarter, which is about what this is. Now, if you don't have one of these fancy dancy little Pampered Chef things, you can do this with a potato peeler that has an apple core on it. You could do it with this knife. Just get a quarter, lay it on the flat, you know, the top, trace it with a pencil, and then kind of just cut around your pencil marks. Doesn't have to be perfect because we're covering it with yarn, and you'll cut out that quarter size shape and just kind of push your knife or your potato peeler all the way down till you've cored the center of your little pumpkin, okay? But we're going to use this handy dandy tool. Please be careful. It is pointed on the end. Don't stab yourself. Okay, so I am just going to kind of get where I think the center is, okay? And I'm just going to gently shove it all the way down, and you'll see it comes right out. I'm gonna pull it out, and then there you go. You just cord a styrofoam ball. So we have that. Yes, Jana, share with her. She can also use that as a selling point, that it not only cores apples, but it does crafts as well. If you don't have something, that's the beauty of DIY crafts. You can just make do with whatever you have, and it always turns out cute. So I have my little styrofoam ball. I cut off the bottom, trimmed off the top, and then I made a nice hole. You'll see my finger fits through that, and that's the point. We won't be able to thread our finger. So since we're not using a needle of any kind, we're just gonna kind of take our yarn. You see I have one end here, and I am going to tie a double knot in it. Now, when I did mine earlier, okay, we're gonna measure out probably about 3 or 4, probably 3, maybe 4 arm lengths, or maybe 3.5. It depends on how chunky you want your pumpkin, okay? I wanted mine a little chunky, and I didn't want to run out of yarn. So I actually, on the first one I did 6 arm lengths of yarn. So what we're gonna do, to do that, for those of you who aren't, I'm not a knitter, I'm not a sewer, I'm not a anything to do, but my mama did crochet growing up, so I know what an arm's length is. You just take your end, okay, and I measured it, or this is the way I did it, the way I remembered my mama doing it. If it's wrong, sorry. So I take this in, I'm gonna hold my arm out like that, and I'm gonna hold my other arm like this. And when you have your arms all the way stretched out, that's 1 arm's length, or 2 arms length, whatever. But I'm calling it 1. So just like that, because again, we don't want to run out. So I'm gonna do 3 of those, okay, and then I'm gonna trim. Don't have scissors. Hold on, I got some right here. I'm gonna just snip at the other end, and at the other end I'm gonna tie a double knot, just like that. Okay, again, I don't know if that's right measurement, but that's how I measured mine, and I did 3. So now I'm just gonna take the one end, and I'm going to run it through my hole, the knot, and you'll see it's just going to go through a little easy. Might have to grab it, and I'm going to pull my yarn. Let's see, 1, 2, we'll pull it about halfway back. You're going to kind of get it to the middle of the length that you cut out. So I did like pulled 1.5 through. You're gonna leave the tail. You're gonna hold it with this hand, and then you're just gonna feed your yarn through, okay? So you just push it through and you thread it like that. And then you push it through the hole. Grab your knot. This is super easy. Your kids could do this and make up all their colors. So that's it. And you'll see it just starts turning into a pretty covering, and it's really cool because this chunky yarn is kind of it's super soft and furry, so it just looks like fall and winter to me. So you're just going to thread your first half through like that, okay, and then I'll kind of show you where I'm at with the other one. This is the one I started earlier, okay, and you'll see this was when I got to the end of that first half. I just left the tail hanging, okay, and I'll show you what to do with that in a minute. And I have my other, you see I have quite a bit of excess because I overshot, and that's okay because you don't want to run out halfway through. So I have threaded all the way through, and what I'm doing with my second half, I'm almost done covering my pumpkin, which are covering the styrofoam. But I kind of went back, and where there were some spots that maybe needed to be covered, I just used this second half to do that as well. So we're gonna go ahead and finish. I'm just pushing this through with my finger, and it gets kind of tight. Of course, as you get towards the end, you want to kind of hold on to this tail, make sure you don't lose it, okay, and we're just pushing through. So easy. Like, cute decor does not have to be expensive, and I just love things that you make yourself. There's kind of a little bit of joy in that, well, lots of joy, a little bit of pride. Hey, I made that. And you'll see I cut off for this one the 6 arm lengths. For this one, the new one I started, I only did 3, so that's what 6, that's 9 arm lengths. And you'll see I still have this giant, so one of these will make several. So get you a few of those different colors and just fill up a bowl. Wouldn't these be pretty in a bowl or a tiered tray? Or I'm pretty sure I'm gonna put one of these on my mantle. So we're gonna finish up, and then I'll show you what I did, how we're gonna finish it off. And I wanna point out that when I did this first one earlier, my top was not flat. It was crookeder than probably crooked should be. But once I got the yarn in there, you can't really see that. So if you don't get the trimming part exact, don't freak out. You're not gonna, it's gonna be okay. So I'm almost done. It goes really quick once you get started, but I didn't want to make y'all sit here and watch that, even though it went quick. All right, I have like a couple little spots right here. I'm gonna just go back through to make sure that they're covered. Maybe one more. And then I think we're gonna call it done. All right, I lie, one more. Let me just see. Kind of once you get close to the end, just kind of eyeball it and make sure, you know, that all your styrofoam is covered, all the things. Okay, so I'm gonna call that good. Isn't that cute? It's covered to my liking, right, all the way around. This would be pretty with a cream color. So now I'm just gonna kind of trim it down here by this other one, maybe a little shorter. These aren't material scissors, so it's, all right, so I have this little bit left, and I'm gonna go ahead, just tie a good knot in this side as well. The knot is just gonna help it kind of stay in the hole, because that's where we're going with this. Ah, there's a fly in my art area. All right, so now I've trimmed it as close as I can. I'm just shoving that little excess into the hole. Okay, and it's pretty snug in there now since we've done all the threading, and so it's gonna stay. So this piece that I originally had, we're just gonna bring it up and shove it down in the hole as well. So then you have this cute, isn't that cute? I look like Vanna. So easy. So now we're gonna take these sticks. I promise you, no hot glue, no sewing, nothing like that. So now we're gonna take our sticks. I think I'm gonna take this chunky one, maybe. That might be too chunky. I did trim these with my saw in the garage. You don't have to, but it rained recently, so they were semi-wet, and I didn't want the wet piece, so I cut it. But you can just break it, it's fine too. These were a little chunky, so I just trimmed it with the saw, and that's okay. But I left this part, you'll see there's some good old Alabama mud on it. I did dust it off and wipe it off as best I could, but that's okay because it kind of adds to the rustic look. So now you're going to take your stick and you're just going to kind of shove it down in your hole. You can get it good and in there, and that's it. Now we have a cute little unique pumpkin that took really, I would say altogether, from start to finish, probably 10-15 minutes. The longest part for me was kind of figuring out the yarn. Now you'll see I did use, that was the first one. I had 6 arm lengths, so this is almost 1. So I would say do 4 or 5, because you'll see how chunky it is. So 4 or 5 arm lengths of yarn, a styrofoam ball. We trimmed the top and the bottom. We cored out the middle. We knotted our yarn, threaded it through, stuffed the ends into the hole, and put a stick in it. How cute is that? This, honestly, this is one of those crafts that when I see it, I mean, this could literally be, I think, on a shelf in Hobby Lobby. In fact, I may have seen yarn pumpkins in Hobby Lobby. So, but we made it for very inexpensive and very easy. So I hope this inspires you to make some pumpkins. Gianna, if your kiddos make them, come back here and post a picture, share that with us. A task, I don't know if I'd go that far, but thank you for calling me a genius. Sometimes I have an epiphany. But anyway, super cute. Make you some pumpkins. I recommend this mustard yellow because it's my fave. So enjoy, happy crafting. Love you guys.